Hey YouTube, welcome back for another episode. I got a real special one for you today because we have just passed 200 subscribers. At the time of me filming this, we are currently at 230. So I can't thank you guys enough. I love the feedback that I'm getting on all these videos. And to celebrate, I got 2 new locomotives for you. My birthday was a couple weeks ago, and these are the ones that I got. So I hope you guys really enjoy this. Let's dive right into it. First locomotive I'm going to show you today is this Norfolk & Western JClass from 1996. 1996 being the year after I was born. I actually got this as an early birthday present. Thank you, Mom, for that. I found this on eBay, and I've been chasing this for the longest time, and I never thought I would get my hands on it because they are just so darn expensive. And this one I found for relatively cheap. I got it for so cheap because the seller originally claimed that it was defective. It wouldn't run. But I put it on the track and powered it up, and it runs absolutely flawless. And you'll get to see that in just a moment. But look really close at this engine. If you could tell, it looks like it's old and worn out and dirty. Well, that's because it is factory weathered. When these sets came out, this is a series of 3 sets that Lionel made in the mid to late 90s called the Warhorse series. And what do I mean by Warhorse? Well, they purposely took 3 locomotives, and they would weather them and give them special sounds that gave them an old, worn-out kind of a feel. If anybody that's watching these videos can remember when steam locomotives were still in active use in the 1950s, will probably remember steam engines looking just like this, covered in soot, covered in grime, because they knew steam engines were on their way out and diesels were on their way in. So, towards the end of the steam era, most of them looked very much like this. All of the Warhorse sets came with a little plaque. Like you can see here, this one's on the boiler backhead. It says Lionel Warhorse, and then it gives the date, 1996. This locomotive being part of a set, it would have came with 4 weathered hoppers and a weathered bay window caboose. Unfortunately, I only have the engine and tender, but eventually I would like to get my hands on the whole set, because all together, it is an absolutely stunning set. This one being the first one in the series, the second one being a Santa Fe Hudson, and the third one being Southern Pacific SD40s. Now keep in mind, this is 1996, so scale was not a big popularity back then, like it is today. So nowadays we have Legacy, and we have all these other really high-end locomotives, but back then this was the best that you could get. These sets showcase Lionel's top-of-the-line technology. This one has smoke, steam chest smoke, magnet traction, crew figures, rail sounds, and Trainmaster Command Control, or TMCC. So for those of you that don't know what TMCC is, if any of you HO guys are watching this, it pretty much works the exact same way as DCC. You would have constant track power, and you would activate all of the sounds and features from a separate remote control. All of the sound effects that this locomotive makes are actually recorded from number 611, the only surviving J-Class Norfolk & Western engine. And like I said, it is not a legacy locomotive, but by no means was this a cheap set. This was about $2,000 in 1996. Sadly, I cannot activate all of its sounds and features because I do not have TMCC. I just have a regular transformer. But I will do my best to activate some of the sounds that it has. have it for locomotive number 1. Still sounds very good, still runs very good. Unfortunately, you couldn't really see the steam chest smoke effect. It's very hard to see on camera, but still runs just as good as the day it was new. Now on to locomotive number 2. The next locomotive I'm going to show you is the Southern 080 Switcher. So a few weeks ago, I was on vacation in Strasburg, Pennsylvania, and I went into the Strasburg Model Railroad shop. And sitting in the glass case was this gorgeous locomotive, and I just couldn't turn my head away from it. The paint scheme is just flawless. I love the war bonds tender. I love the green and silver and black. It's just a really, really beautiful locomotive, and I had to take this thing home. Before I run this engine, I do want to talk about it for a second, because this is not a fantasy paint scheme. This locomotive actually did exist in real life during World War II. With the exception of the high mount headlight, the real Southern engine would have had a center mount headlight, but other than that, it's pretty much spot on to the original. This was offered in Lionel's 2020 catalog, and it's actually my very first brand new Lionel engine, and it is also my first engine to have a LIONCHIEF remote. So what LIONCHIEF is, remember I talked about TMCC. This is pretty much just a watered down version of TMCC, and it's geared more towards the entry-level model railroader. Now some of the higher-end LIONCHIEF engines have way more features than this does. This is still technically a starter set locomotive, but it was offered by itself. Some of the higher-end ones also come with electrocouplers on either end. This one unfortunately does not, but it is still a beautiful running engine. So let me show you. I'm going to turn this up to about 17 volts. And you'll see that the engine's making a whistling sound. That means it's searching for the remote. Turn the remote on, and the sounds will start. Oh. So now I can activate all the sounds right from here. Crew talk.
Dispatcher here. Start her up. Stand by for track orders. Over. Yes, sir. Start up and stand by. Out. Dispatcher, my engine's ready. Can I pull? Over. Please stand by. Out. Dispatcher, trains buckle together. Can I get a go? Over. Negative. Hold your position. Over. Okay. Understood. Out. I'm ready to roll, dispatcher.
And on top of all of that, it is also Bluetooth compatible. So yes, you can in fact run this off of your smartphone if you download the LionChief app on iOS or Android. Okay, right now the train is connected to the remote. Turn the remote off. Wait a couple of seconds until it makes that chirping sound. Okay, right now it's looking for a connection. So go on your phone. So now it says no connected locomotive. Click on that. This one's already connected to here. Tap that till it highlights. Hit the link button. All right, train's now connected. You can work everything right from here. Whistle, bell, crew talk. And here's the throttle. Forward or reverse. But here's the cool thing about this. And go to here, you can actually change the pitch and individual volume for each thing that it does. So right now I have the whistle all the way down because Southern locomotives have a very deep whistle. This is how it sounded right out of the box. Or you can make it even higher than that. Change the pitch of the bell. That's its factory setting. Lower. Higher. I think it sounds best at its factory setting, so I'll leave it there. All right, so now we're going to run this from here. What do you guys think? You like the higher pitch whistle? Or you like it where it was? Or leave it where it was from the factory? Now, I'll be totally honest with you. When Lionel first came out with LionChief, and when they first started getting into Bluetooth capability with their locomotives, I was not a fan of it. I was actually very disappointed and thought that it was going to take away from what the hobby was. Like they say, don't judge a book by its cover, because after running this engine, I absolutely fell in love with it. Well, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Once again, thank you so much for all the feedback. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.